Hey, it's Dan from Kitsap CrossFit, and I want to take a few minutes to have a very frank discussion with you about a very serious issue, and that is rhabdomyolysis. You may have heard it pronounced rhabdomyolysis. More often, it's just referred to by rhabdo. And it is a conversation that's being bounced around a lot right now because Memorial Day is fast approaching. And the tradition with Memorial Day is to do the hero workout Murph. And people have some concerns that, especially this year, that doing Murph could expose people to risk of rhabdo. And I definitely think there's some validity to that concern. Before I go into that, and I think I might do that in a subsequent video, I want to talk to you a little bit about what rhabdomyolysis is. So essentially what rhabdo is a serious, potentially life-threatening condition, although that's pretty rare in just the exercise world. But it certainly is a serious condition where the muscle tissue is damaged and broken down to a point where the kidneys are unable to deal with the proteins that are released from the muscles. So when we exercise, what we actually do is we damage the muscles. And it's a small level damage, it's microscopic level damage. And in that, what happens is when we rest, when we recover, our body repairs that damage, and that's how we get stronger. Now, in cases of rhabdo, what happens is that typically it's the volume of exercise is so great that the muscle damage overwhelms the kidneys. So when muscles are damaged, they release the contents of the cells, specifically proteins, and the kidneys deal with those chemicals and clean up the blood. Well, in cases of rhabdo, the kidneys get overwhelmed. There's more protein than they can handle, and then you could go into kidney failure, and of course, worst case scenario is that you could die from that. Now again, that's pretty rare in just the fitness world. There have certainly been cases of it, but at any rate, you can have a very serious issue with this and end up in hospitalization. You could actually even have to go on dialysis for a while. So it is very serious. Those extreme cases are pretty rare. Now, there are some factors that can predispose someone to this. And this kind of factors into why people are concerned with this, especially around holidays. Dehydration and excessive alcohol consumption have been shown to predispose people to risk for rhabdo. And so around holidays, people are typically partying hard, and they go into a workout hungover, or maybe even sometimes still slightly intoxicated, and also dehydrated. So that puts them at greater risk. Another factor that's been shown to put people at risk is some viral infections. And of course, in this current climate, that's something we have to worry about. I don't know that there's any connection between coronavirus or COVID-19 and rhabdo, but viral infections have also been shown to potentially put someone at greater risk. So that's problematic. When someone's new to exercise, or when someone's been doing vigorous exercise for a while, take a break and then try to get back into it, that's also a risk factor. And again, that perfectly describes our situation right now. You're a pretty active, regular CrossFitter. Now you've been forced to stay at home. Your workouts have changed. Maybe some folks aren't doing the same types of workouts anymore. And now you try to jump in and do Murph, certainly could be problematic. And then there are certain drugs, medications that also predispose people. Statins and certain other drugs might make you at greater risk. Now, we know that there are specific types of exercises that are more problematic. And so when we're doing exercises, the two primary types of contractions or muscular work that we do are concentric contractions, where the muscle is shortening under load, and eccentric contractions, where the muscles are lengthening under load. So if we think about this in a pull-up, when you're pulling yourself over the bar, the bicep muscle is working concentrically, it's shortening. When you're lowering yourself back down, that muscle is lengthening under load, and that's eccentric. It's the eccentric, or sometimes pronounced eccentric work, that tends to be more problematic. It causes more muscle damage. So pull-ups, GHD sit-ups. I've heard some cases of kettlebell swings, the lowering of the bell in the kettlebell swing. In the endurance world, prolonged or a lot of downhill running can also be problematic because the quads, the front part of the thigh, are working eccentrically in that type of a movement. So when we're programming workouts, we're always thinking about that. Is there a big eccentric load? Do we have to worry about that? And pull-ups are definitely a movement where we have to be careful with that. And it's a movement where it's not uncommon to see rhabdo in high repetition scenarios. So I think it's an important consideration. I think it's something that we have to be aware of. In this video, I just wanted to give you some background information on what rhabdo is. I am going to be filming a subsequent video specifically on MRF and what you can do to mitigate the risk of getting rhabdo or any other type of injury if you're planning on doing MRF. So stay tuned for that, but I just wanted to give you this background information on rhabdo. Thanks for checking it out.